So now that you know all of this, I'm going to conclude this video with one final example. And we are going to create a function that takes in a word or character as a parameter, and let's just say counts how many times that occurs in input. So let's create a function called parse, right? And what we are going to do is one argument is going to be like a word that the user types in, and we are going to say input equals imp equals input. Imp is just a variable. Enter in a sentence, right? And then what else? Now we have to count how many times it occurs in input. Remember, we need to convert this into something we can iterate through. Of course, we can iterate through a string by itself, but that will not be effective. So what we do is first we want to format it with the strip, and remember what that does. That just strips spaces from both ends, so the spaces are not included. And we are also going to split it after that, and split it by space. That way we will be able to iterate over every word. And now we are going to do what I just said, iterate through every word. And if I is equal to word count plus equal 1, and we are going to define a count here as 0, and at the end we are going to return count. We should actually return a tuple with the word and count, just like this. So in this way, whatever the user types in, they can enter in a word. When they're invoking the function, they can enter in a word they want to search for. It'll ask them for an input. They type in a sentence, and then for each word in the input, if the word is equal to the word they want to check, the count will increase by 1, and then we return word and count. So one thing we have to do beforehand, just to make sure nothing goes wrong, is redefine word as word.lower. What that does is it just changes any word this user types in to a string of all lowercase characters. So something like this would become this. So there's also an upper function, but we don't need that right now. And we are going to say .strip, .split. But before that, we can just actually over here, we can say if I dot, actually, it'll be better if we do it right here. So before we do all these strip methods, we are going to say .lower. So yeah, now let's run this. I think it won't return a bug, so we'll say parse. And what should we look for? We'll look for the. So let's run this. We get enter in a sentence, right? Let's type in something long. The man drank water after walking the dog in the park. Something like that. And we have to run this, actually enter, and oh, you can't see anything. That's because I have to print the result of the function. Let's run this for the last time. We're going to say enter in a sentence, the man drank the water after walking the dog to the park. It's not really phrased correctly, but I just wanted to include a lot of does, so it returns a good value. And let's enter that in, and there we get it. The and for. So what that means is that the word the, whether it's lowercase or uppercase, appears 4 times in the sentence. The. So just to make sure that you don't think I'm cheating, I'm going to say let's say A. So, oh, we have to do a word. So we'll say, what appears more than once? I'll just say 2. So if we run this, we should get, enter in a sentence, the man drank water after walking the dog to the park, right? And let's run this. Actually, we already run it. Let's just enter it. And here we get the string 2 and 1. And that just means 2 appears one time in the sentence. So this is a really neat function. Let me go over it one more time in case you don't know what it does. We are creating a function parse, which takes in the argument word, and word is what we put in when we're calling the function. So we are changing that word to all lowercase characters. We are defining a variable count, which will come in handy when we're counting the number of times a word appears. Now we are taking in an input with this message saying enter in a sentence, and this gets a little complicated now. First, we are changing all the characters into lowercase. Then we are stripping the spaces on both sides. Actually, we can do that before, but it shouldn't matter. And finally, we are splitting it. I'm not sure we need the strip, but I just wanted to include it so you know what it's doing. And finally, we are splitting it, which changes it into a list. Yep, a list with all the spaces gone, and it's split word by word. And now we are going to iterate through the list, which is simply just a list of words. And we are going to say if I is equal to word, count plus equals 1. So yeah, this is all about user input, casting, formatting, string methods, and one worked example. So I hope you guys learned something. I know this video is a bit long, but see you next time.